Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. With you, as always, is me, Ricky. And, of course, we got Dennis kicking off episode 118, where we are talking about What If Season 2.
I'll just be lurking in the shadows over here.
That's your Superior Strange mode.
I need to get more lights in here. Yeah, we're doing the whole season this time around because Disney was nice enough to give us an entire season for the whole week. And we did promise to get it in there before the new year. We lied, but there's a reason we lied. It's because I didn't realize it was a 9-episode season. I thought it was 8. Mm-hmm. And we had only gotten through 8 episodes by the time last Friday. And I was like, this is weird. I don't want to judge.
Yeah, we were not going to just talk about 8 and then just do one from 1.
Yeah, so we called an audible last minute and said, let's just take the holiday and we'll come back so we can actually talk about them all, because we didn't feel like doing the show on the Saturday either. So that's the excuse. There's no other reason than we miscalculated how many episodes there were, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to give the listeners or the viewers a half-assed or an 8/9 review of the show. So yeah.
Did you watch them all on the day they came out?
You know what? Once I found out that there was another episode, so I found that out on the Friday while I was watching episode 8, and when I texted you. And I was like, there's still another one. And you're like, let's do it next week. I actually stopped watching it and I forgot to go back and finish the episode. And then I forgot to watch 9 on Saturday. So I watched 8 and 9 on Sunday. So, but other than that, I did watch every day. It's just, we got into serious video game mode for that New Year's weekend.
Yeah.
And just lazed out and stuff. And so, yeah.
I'm happy it was there. But I like you, I went like 3 days, watched 3, and then skipped a couple days, watched the next few. I didn't do each day.
I mostly watched them like during lunch or dinner. Like that was it. Just like,
yeah, that's what they were good for. They were like good little appetizers.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say this, I actually preferred when I had more than one of them to watch at the same time. It felt more fun to me. So I would recommend binging them. Like I think it's a fun binge, because there is even though each one is its own little story, just like the first season, there's an arc that happens. And so, but we won't spoil any more of that right now. We're going to take some time to, let all our thousands of fans show up before we talk about the full thing.
Pile on in.
Yeah. But at this point, if you're still watching us in the new year, it's 2024. We've been doing this for a few years. We like to tell you the thing we're going to talk about and then come back to it way later in the show, because we have other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But how was your New Year, Ricky?
Pretty mellow. Like I felt we were home by like 10 and like
nice,
ready to go to bed. Like, and everyone I talked to, that was the sentiment. Like, I don't think I want to stay up anymore for New Year's. Is that bad?
Yeah. No,
It's getting old.
Yeah, you're getting old.
Like I grew up popping fireworks on New Year's Eve, like actively setting small explosives off as like a toddler. And when you don't do that anymore, fireworks are just inherently more shitty.
Fireworks
so watch them
or New Year's.
Well, New Year, like watching fireworks on New Year's, even 4th of July. Like it just doesn't hit the same. I want the
At this point, my wife and I just settle for watching the fireworks in Fortnite.
yeah.
That's what we do. We don't even do it at midnight. We do
Which
it
is
at
kind of dumb, kind of, right? Like it's
I mean,
Fortnite. Make it cooler than fireworks.
but it's all dumb. It's but yes. Fine. I get your point. But yeah, but the cool thing is they do it every hour on the hour. So if you don't want to stay up till midnight, you can watch them at 9 o'clock and ring in the new year with New York.
Like even watching Anderson Cooper getting wasted is lost its allure at this point.
I don't know. I saw some good TikToks. It was pretty funny. But yeah, like I was totally comfortable in my PJs at home playing all sorts of games throughout the day, and then in the evening, got some Fortnite in there, rang in the new year, and then what was really funny was like my wife wasn't sure she was going to make it till midnight, and then around 11:45 she's still up and she's like, I could do this. I could do this. Is there anything we could watch where we can watch the ball drop? And I was like, I don't know, like, because we don't have cable. We just have the apps, that we have. And
yeah.
So I started looking through the apps, and the best I could find was Paramount Plus had Christmas in Nashville.
Oh.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird.
Or you mean New Year's in Nashville?
Yeah, in Nashville is what I would say. And it was funny because yes, they have a party going on there, but they actually sent correspondents to New York in their cowboy hats and stuff like that, and dusters. And so they were there covering the ball drop in New York while there was a party going on in Nashville. It was pretty funny. It was definitely not my normal viewing experience for New Year's, but as soon as the ball dropped in New York, Leonard Skinner came on stage and started playing Sweet Home Alabama, and I was like, I don't even understand what was going on.
That song is like different meaning this nowadays.
I was in bed by 12:02. Let's just say that. Like that's
it's like you should.
Yeah.
I didn't wake up till like 10 the next day. That's my ideal New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun. It was a fun holidays though. Like I definitely felt like, I don't know, and maybe just here in California, it feels a little colder than usual. And so I just wanted to bundle up and enjoy the comfort of my home. And I don't think I think that's, and it sounds old when you say it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
What other content did you consume aside from New Year's content?
I caught up on, so I finished Letterkenny, which I love that show. It's adorable. I can't really explain that show other than it's kind of like sweet Canadian, like farmer Seinfeld or Sunny in Philadelphia kind of. It's like if those characters were nice, but still like to get into trouble. You know what I mean? It's weird. They had hearts of gold, but they still cause trouble.
I think the Sunny cast have hearts of gold.
The cast has hearts of gold, not the characters. Like the characters, no. But I finished Letterkenny, which has kind of been a Christmas tradition for us for a few years because like they drop a new season like during the holidays every year. But yeah, they had 12 seasons and it's ended now, and so I consumed that. And then just most recently this week, I binged all of The Curse.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Nathan Fielder show.
Yeah,
yeah. Is that good?
That's rough. It's rough. It's there's only one episode left. I guess the latest one came out today.
Funny or is it a downer?
It's really uncomfortable funny.
Okay.
Like really uncomfortable funny. Like yeah. If you're not into anxiety fueled shows, don't watch.
That's like his thing, right? Like
I know. It's just really awkward. Really awkward stuff. But what about you? What'd you watch?
I watched The Iron Claw. That movie's amazing. That movie's gonna get Zac Efron an Oscar. He deserves it. But
what about Jeremy Allen White?
He looks great. Oh, did you see his freaking Calvin Klein ad that came out?
No.
Like it's hilarious because he's just like dancing in his underwear on like a skyline in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But my God, all the people in that movie are just like the most ripped.
They're ripped now, right? Yeah, like they
Like,
all got ripped.
like
Yeah.
Carmi, what happened?
I
But that
mean,
movie,
Carmi's pretty ripped in the second season of The Bear. You can tell he's
he is pretty
hiding.
ripped.
He's hiding that muscle under the chef clothes.
Wasn't he up for what role was he rumored to be playing in the MCU for like a hot minute?
I don't know.
No, Wonder Man. He was rumored to be Wonder Man for a minute.
Oh, but Yaya got that gig.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I got that, and I don't know if that's even still happening, but
I hope it is. I mean, Wonder Man is more classic Avenger than a lot of other characters that have been getting shows. So,
he's a West Coast Avenger, right?
yeah, but it's West Coast is a very big part of Avengers lore, you know. So like it's important, and he is, I think, the last West Coast Avenger outside of a Spider Woman that has not shown up in the MCU.
I'm about to say, we're getting Spider Woman next month.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
But
and just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, like that's what we do for you. Like like you may not understand why there needs to be another show like this, but like we're the ones that go see these movies even when we don't want to see these movies, just so that we can be here to talk about these movies. We're gonna see Spider-Woman next month, and I'm not excited. I'm not excited, but I'm excited to talk about it afterwards, I guess. Yeah,
it'll be good. But other than the Iron Claw, I've watched Jury Duty. That show's amazing as well. It's funny. It's funnier than I thought it was going to be, but it's also incredible from a technical standpoint on how they pulled that off.
Aren't you impressed with James Marsden as an actor? That guy had to improv a lot. Like they all did. They all don't know how that human being is going to react through that show. And so they have to pivot constantly to go with it. You know what I mean? Like James Marsden got nominated for his first Emmy ever in that show.
He worked his ass off.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. I just like love how like everything that I was thinking of like how he would respond to like the situation it happened. He's gonna like, oh, he's gonna know James Marsden. He's probably gonna think he's an X-Men. He's like, yeah, you're the guy from X-Men.
Yeah. They would just literally call him X-Men. If people listening have never seen that show, what's the one sentence like write up you or the pitch? What's the pitch you would give for that show?
What's the pitch? Real life Parks and Rec.
Really? I would have said real life Truman Show.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that. Yeah, well, okay, boomer.
But
I've barely seen that movie, but yes, it is more real life Truman Show. But I think if you like Parks and Rec, you would like this.
The elevator.
It's like this. Yeah, it's the same show. Same show there, and what else? What else did I watch? We watched
Welcome Joel, by the way.
Welcome Joel, because she just got out, and that's fun in and of itself. And before the show, I watched the latest episode of Godzilla, and goddamn it, that show is still amazing. It is not lost on me that every week we get a Godzilla TV show with Kurt Russell straight to my TV, and it's like I'm still amazed every time he comes on screen. Like, how the hell did they get him to do this?
I mean, it's
and
they back the truck up.
He's full Kurt Russell. He's not he's not Sky High Kurt Russell.
Yeah. I just want to do something weird here for a second. Like, Joel, thank you for joining us as you do on occasion. I have a quick question. I know it's going to take a minute for the response to come in, but have you actually watched all episodes of What If this season? And then now you may continue talking while I wait for his response.
Now I want another response now.
Kurt Russell. You were talking about
Kurt Russell. No, the show's amazing. And
I got a weird proposition for you, Joel, because I was having a hard time finding somebody available tonight to talk about the show that had watched all of it. Would you like to join us tonight?
Oh
Like,
man,
I can make that happen.
we're doing a live pitch right now here, ladies and gentlemen.
I can give him the link and he can be here if he'd like to be. I know he's got family obligations and things like that may prevent him, but I had to try. I have to at least
Just
try.
send it. Just send it. We'll see if he joins in. We'll see.
You
him
could
at the
always
bottom.
just join for part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just send it and we'll leave it be.
Joel, I'm gonna send you the link and it's up to you. Oh, you're still at work.
Even better.
That's even funnier. All right, well, fair enough. Then have fun there and have fun enjoying us talk about this stuff. I had to try it. I had to try it because I thought it would be super funny.
God, man, he's working late.
I know why he's working late, so I get it. Well, it's he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing that he's got to do to pay the bills.
Yes.
Do you want to jump into some news, or do you want to talk more about Godzilla like you do every week?
Let's get into news. So there's one more episode of Godzilla, so we'll talk spoilers for Godzilla next week.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First week of the year, we got a little bit of news. You're in the toy world. Your Angel toy is up for pre-order, right?
That toy looks so good.
When do you get him?
Good. April, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. It's April. I get my Doc Ock in the mail this week. That thing looks awesome. Yeah.
I was reading up on Angel for the toy. I don't have pictures of it, but he was in the Champions, right? That was his group he was with Ghost Rider and who else in the Champions? Ghost Rider.
I mean, Angel's been in several teams, but yeah, primarily he's one of the first X-Men, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, but what are you getting at? What are you trying to get to?
I was trying to figure out what was like the Champion story, or how do they all? Just because it seemed like a random ass mix of characters.
I don't remember. There's been several actual teams called the Champions throughout the comics. So like I think one of them is like Miss Marvel and
that's the most recent one. Like Miles is on there, Nova Kid.
Yeah. So I couldn't give you an exact accurate thing. But I see you've already moved on to some news that I was hoping you had in here.
Yes, Steven Yeun is no longer starring in the Thunderbolts. Was never announced he was going to be Sentry or the Sentry.
It was announced by Robert Kirkman.
Yes, there are pictures of Steven Yeun in a Sentry suit, somewhere in the ether.
Nice.
So those are people I never get to see him.
I hope that it was really due to scheduling and stuff that prevented it, because like that would be terrible to find out that Robert Kirkman blowing his spot up is why he got released from the
I don't see how that would like affect him though, like, right? Like
I don't know. Yeah.
Like they wouldn't take action on it unless they wanted him out.
In fairness though, when I've seen, when I started, the news dropped about this, I saw so many comments that were just gross, and I'm just like, okay, fine, I get it. The racists of the world are happy. It's fine, like, because now maybe Marvel can go get a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy to be, yet another superhero in the universe. Cool. No, I was really excited for Steven Yeun to play this character, and I wanted to see what he was going to bring to it. The character's name is Bob Reynolds, or Robert Reynolds. And yeah, he happens to be blonde, but I don't think that really matters to the character so much, other than it's just what he looks like in the comics. So I was excited to see where he was going to take it. I really like Steven Yeun. He's a great actor, and so
there were some rumors that they were pivoting to potentially make the Thunderbolts a R-rated movie.
That would be awesome. I still like this was one thing that actually had me excited for the Thunderbolts movie. So
more Yelena. You don't love more Yelena?
I love Yelena. I just don't. I think it is the weakest Thunderbolts team I could have ever imagined. It's just a bunch of people and Bucky with one mechanical arm. That's awesome. And then I mean, yeah, I guess Red Guardian's
you got Florence
superpower.
Pugh on retainer. You gotta make a movie.
I'm not saying don't use
You gotta strike the iron while it's hot.
I'm just saying maybe inject her with some Hulk stuff or something. I don't know. Like I just want some superpowers on this Thunderbolts team. You know what
You
I
were
mean?
talking about you got U.S. Agent, Godzilla's show star Wyatt Russell.
Yeah. I don't think they're the Thunderbolts.
Real quick, Sentry question.
Yeah.
What's his relation to the Void? Is the Void a space he goes to, or is it a creature?
They're the same person. The Sentry and the Void are the same person. They are. Okay. It's almost like a schizophrenia or a split personality kind of situation. So he's his own arch villain. Okay. So yeah, if he feels himself slipping, he the Void. The Void comes out, and then he just completely transforms into a different beast. And
a toy.
What's that?
Another toy to buy.
It's a toy I'm getting in the mail this coming week as well. It's a Build-A-Figure for the newest wave of Avengers figures. Yeah. So I will officially have both.
Well, while we marveled in the news of Steven Yeun's departure, another thing leaving is The Marvels from theaters. I just thought it was worth commenting. It will become the lowest grossing MCU film to date.
That's crazy because
the previous lowest film, which was the Incredible Hulk,
right? Yep. Yeah. That's crazy that the Incredible Hulk made more money than this.
So, I mean, you got to compare it. So, Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. This one's going to be sitting right at about 260 worldwide, which is a big drop off. But that's not a bad movie.
It's still profitable.
It's still profitable to some extent.
It's just not. Yeah,
200 million.
But there's a lot of cost that goes into these movies. So exactly so what they made 60 grand or 60 million on this movie.
We got to remember that doesn't factor in marketing. That usually is a big expense. But
right.
They didn't really market the movie.
I mean, they did for a long time. There was trailers made way before the strike and stuff. You know, they marketed the movie, just maybe not as aggressively as people wanted it to be marketed. It's still expensive. So yeah, I don't know that they made money back. If the movie cost 200 million to make, and then
they definitely didn't make money. If break even, slight loss. They also note in this Deadline article that it puts it in the same kind of ballpark as Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey. So that's about how much money that made.
The question is, now that the cracks are showing, does this appear as a sinking ship to the actors who were once, interested in doing a Marvel project? Or are we going to start seeing people jump ship? I don't count Steven Yeun, I don't think he jumped ship so much as he hey, the strike messed everything up. He's got a lot of stuff. He's a busy guy right now. So,
but what's the easy fix for that? You go the Blumhouse route of go back to no names and whatever hits.
I think no names are kind of rad. I think they
could with Echo.
And I like her.
I'm saying it's bad. I like her too. But she's definitely not the same. Her retainer is definitely lower than
right. But
that of a ScarJo or someone.
So I guess what I'm asking is, if you're Brie Larson,
are you down to clown?
Are you sticking around or to see what's happening, or are you trying to find a way to get out of this closet?
I think she probably has to stick around for one more.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, is she trying to find a way out of it? You know what I mean?
I think if they can carve their own space with it, like I can see Brie Larson wanting to come back to the Captain Marvel role. That's a very, any female superhero in a leading film. That's just like it's a big deal.
The other question to ask is, if you're a Tom Holland who has not signed the contract yet, how much more are you asking for? When
I think he will ask for all the money.
I mean, I think he's entitled to it, right? Because like, I think regardless of how these movies perform, I think Spider-Man's the anomaly, right? Like, or like,
well,
right?
Look at it this way. You got Hugh Jackman to come back how many times with Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they made a whole marketing push for a swan song. And then he's like, you know what, I'm back again. So like I do think there is that once you play someone for so long, that is you. You don't ever
Tell that to Chris Evans.
It's like stop playing, when you're Bond, you don't really, what's the phrase? Like, you're not choosing to stop playing Bond, right? You're riding that thing out.
I think they choose to stop. I think they usually choose to stop. I think that's actually a choice that a lot of the Bonds make at some point. Like, they usually, like,
but they each get like four movies, 5 movies.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to what these Marvel actors are committing to nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
I still think the allure of playing, now maybe you don't get the big stars coming back for some of the smaller parts, but Batman, Spider-Man, Captain America, that's our mythos, right? I mean, like, some weird way.
Yeah, but Captain America wasn't our mythos until.
Yeah, but they're now on this, like, the next person. There will be, ladies and gentlemen, another person playing Iron Man in my lifetime. I think that's a safe bet. That's a big shoe to fill for whoever steps into that role. But I think it's an honor, right, to be asked to step into that role as well. So
they'll reboot the universe at some point, right? They got to do it.
I don't think they'll have a problem getting talent. But like,
what's that?
I don't think they'll have a problem retaining or getting talent.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just curious. Like, it's definitely not the it doesn't have the shiny new appeal that it did once before. Like, it's a little muddier. Like, everything's gotten ugly, because especially with the strikes and stuff, like, just airing everybody's dirty laundry, right? Like, Disney didn't come out of those strikes clean, right? Like, they are doing some really shady stuff, like, and so, sorry, Ricky, I'm making it more difficult for us to get sponsored by them at some point, but
I mean, look at it this way. They Harrison Ford will be in a Marvel movie next year. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
And it was almost with Steven Yeun.
I mean, if you had to pick one of the actors to be,
I would take Steven Yeun over Harrison Ford any day of the week. I would.
But if you're paying for that movie to be made and you need a good return on investment,
I would still take Steven Yeun.
Oh man,
I don't think you and I saw the same Indiana Jones movies. Okay, like, they're,
to be fair, that did not make a lot of money.
They're terrible movies.
It was fine. I like that movie a lot.
See, yeah, we didn't watch the same movie.
Yeah,
I've never finished it. I've never finished the newest one. I can't.
How far did you get? Can I ask that?
I spent 2 weeks trying to watch this movie in little intervals.
Did they do the thing or no?
I don't know what the thing is. What is the thing?
They go back in time.
I didn't get to that part where no.
Spoilers.
No, I didn't get there.
Okay.
Sorry. Couldn't.
When they get there, it's a very touching moment. I thought so, but I can see why people didn't like it. I've never seen the other movies, so I wouldn't know.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
How can it be a touching moment for you if you've never seen the other movies?
Because it's good storytelling up into that moment.
No, it's not. It's terrible storytelling. It's okay. We can move on.
We
Was
can
there
move
there was
on.
no other news? No, like any updates on Jonathan Majors at this point?
No, well, he's doing an interview with GMA, I think, next week, which is kind of weird.
Oh, really?
That's Disney.
Mhm.
But it's their news, but it's still Disney. ABC.
Interesting.
Everyone. He lost his day in court, and he's lost his day in court of public opinion, or in public opinion. And can he come back? I don't know, but I don't know if Marvel's gonna let him use their platform to.
Here's the way I
do
see
that.
it. Like, I mean, if you go and look at his charges, like they're not great. It's misdemeanor charges, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not in any way defending the guy, but I am saying this. Mel Gibson still has a career, dude. And like that blows my mind that Mel Gibson still gets work.
pay for
So
your
if
own movies. You can make your own movies.
so if but the movies he's in nowadays, he's not paying for those movies. Like
That's
those
right.
are, I'm just saying somehow Mel Gibson still has a career. I believe Jonathan Majors can come back.
I mean, Bryan Singer got an Oscar not too long ago.
I think Kevin Spacey's probably got a lot more trouble than other actors, but like I'm saying in the grand scheme of people being canceled for their heinous ways, I feel like there's probably like he's banking on this GMA appearance to open the door for somewhere, you know what I mean? And so more
He'll be
power
back,
to
though.
him.
I think he'll be back. He'll be back at some point.
It really all depends on how much remorse the audience feels from him, right? Like, because like that's really what people want now, right? That's why you tune in to see those kind of things, right? To see is he gonna cry? Is he gonna make me feel sad for him? Like that's why you do those things. And so it might be the most challenging performance of his career. So we'll see. But I do think he's a great actor, though. So I am sad to know that he's not going to be Kang. It's a little bummer, but like what are you going to do? He beat a woman.
Yeah.
Like that's no good.
It's bad.
No good,
bad
man.
egg. You can't do that.
You heard it here first. We do not endorse domestic violence on Dan Excelsior. We don't endorse it.
But non-domestic violence, we 100% put our stamp on.
Okay. Wow. Wow. All right.
Fight people you don't know.
Wow. All right. Do you have anything else newsworthy before we move on to
Nah, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, cool. Well, let's do it. Let's do this. All right, this one's pretty crazy. Spoiler warning for an entire season of What If.
How are we gonna? Where do we begin with What If season 2?
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna revisit season 1 really quick. Season 1 was if for anybody who didn't remember, season 1 of What If was an interesting show that was kind of built off the back of the finale of Loki season 1, right? Where Loki season 1, they created a multiverse.
Yeah, they came pretty close right after each other, right?
Yeah, and then that's what happened is like after season 1 of Loki ended and a multiverse was spun out, then we got this fun animated show that was titled after a really beloved Marvel comic that always asked the question, what if things occurred differently than they are known to have occurred? And they were just one-shot stories in the comic books that explored some of the more iconic moments in comic book history, in Marvel comic book history, but they put a spin on them. And so what I really liked about the first season of What If is they set out to do just that, but then they set out to do even more than just that, right? So while we got a bunch of little individual stories with interesting characters like Captain Carter and like Bro Thor or whatever, not Bro Thor, what did we
Party
call it?
Thor
Party Thor. Thank you very much. And the Strange Supreme, right? Like that was like there's some really interesting characters that showed up, or Black Panther or T'Challa as Star-Lord and stuff like that, right? We had all these interesting characters, and then what ended up happening is in the final episode of the season, we learn that one of these characters just went off the rails, and it's Vision as Ultron got a hold of the Infinity Stones and just started derailing not only his universe but all of like a bunch of multiverses. And so Uatu, the Watcher, who had been our narrator for the entire season of the show, suddenly became more than a narrator and became involved. And he intervened by visiting all of the episodes that we had seen previously, the characters, pulling them out of their universes and forming a team of multiversal Avengers or
Guardians of the Multiverse.
The Guardians of the Multiverse. And so what you end up is with this really nice end cap to the season where everything that you watched paid off and became one big team up story where they all had to go and fight this character. And then they all went back to their respective universes, except Peggy, Peggy Carter. We said, or, we were like, maybe the door's not closed on this character. Like, that's kind of how that season ended. And so what I really liked about this new season is it continued that same spirit, right? It actually starts with a very isolated story, I think, with Nebula, right? But then I don't think it took very long before, I think it's episode 5. So halfway through the season is when we got to check back in on Peggy. And we got to see her again. And so there's lots of other fun stories. There's a Die Hard story with where Happy Hogan ends up getting a version of the Hulk serum injected in him on Christmas, and he has to save the Avengers Tower from a Die Hard situation where Justin Hammer's raiding the place. And there's a lot of fun, interesting stories. They even got Kate Blanchett to come back and do a random, like, what if Hela found the 10 rings. I absolutely love the premise of that story. I think that is a really cool thing to fuse like Norse mythology with like this 10 rings like mythology that's been established in the Marvel Universe. Super cool. All these fun stories. And then what do? Last episode, they do it again. They're like, we got to run it back. We got to tie them all in, And so they did a kind of fun thing where the final 2 episodes are once again calling back to the season that you enjoyed and letting a bigger story play out. And I thought that was really cool. At this point now it's kind of expected, and that's kind of a bummer that I expected them to do it, because for me it was kind of a surprise when they did it the first time. You know what I mean? Like even if there were ads and stuff, like. So this time around, I was I was a little underwhelmed in this season overall compared to the first season, but I still enjoy the idea of it. What about you?
I agree a lot with the sentiment. I did not like it more than the first season.
Yeah.
The trick of doing the team up at the end. It
didn't hit the same.
It's not the same, right? And I don't want to see the same people, because like they're making a Marvel Zombies show, right? For better or for worse, the Zombies episode in the first season was probably one of the best ones, the most beloved ones. So much so that they are continuing it. It's getting its own show, basically, right?
Yeah.
So if something is that good, I would rather it live elsewhere than infect What If, because for What If I want random, Go places where I didn't think you were gonna go. Show me the big, show me the what
It's
if, and for lack of a better phrase, show me the what if of A players.
it's almost like you're saying what I always say about Star Wars is you make the universe small by constantly referencing the same established characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I will concede that to the point. But with that, I mean, I think your point is it's a little tricky because of the context in which we see the zombies, right? Like Strange is the bad guy of the season, right? Like he dips in one episode earlier with Kahori, and then we see him again at the end. We find out that Strange is the guy that he's back at it. He's like, he was a pretty crazy, that was, in all honesty, that was one of my favorite episodes of last season. Like his episode was dark,
Yeah,
man.
great one.
It was dark, and like I thought it was so cool to see it because it really helped establish how powerful Doctor Strange can be and how restrained he is, the version we have of him, right? Like he does a lot to keep himself from doing really horrible stuff. Whereas in that What If episode, he was eating beings, like he was consuming beings to gain their powers. You know what I mean? And so in the final episode of this season, we see that he's back at it. He's back at consuming beings so that he can finally restore his universe, which he ended up destroying at the end of his episode, right? Like, so he's gone around collecting. In theory, he's just collecting all the universe enders, but then you find out that's not the full truth, right? He's actually been collecting anybody who's super powerful, because he's created a forge and he's going to use that. And so in that sense, I don't mind that you find out that he also does have the zombie Scarlet Witch.
Well, that's not what I mean, though. I mean, like
zombie Scarlet Witch was powerful as hell.
Give Captain Carter her own show.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now on that token, I won't say you're wrong, because I do think it's cute that they're choosing to have her be the other side of the coin of Uatu. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because like now there's like two characters that are the stars of What If. But it like, is weird.
Is it wrong to say that What If, like, the comics don't have continuity?
Not usually.
Yeah,
but
that's what makes it cool.
But there are characters that have been created in the What If comics that have gone on to have spin-off and be their own
because they were good.
Because they were cool. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And they get folded into the main universe eventually, like so yeah, I think I love Captain Carter. I think that character is freaking awesome. And I also enjoyed seeing her in 1602 outfit. You know what I mean? Like that was like, I liked seeing her. I like seeing, I was really scared for her at a moment when she was going to fight Thor. I was like, this is not a fair fight, but then she does it the Captain America or Captain Carter way, right? She finds a way. Like she doesn't relent just because all her powers
she doesn't back down from anything.
Yeah. And I thought that was really cool how much she channels the spirit of Steve, but in her character, And so then when you escalate to the next episode and it's now her versus Strange Supreme, I'm like, no, this is not. Well, you know what? I applaud you anyways, Peggy, because you're not backing down, even though you should not win this fight, And so, yeah, you're right. I won't argue with you. I think Captain Carter deserves her own show. I would rather keep exploring new stories in What If and not dwell on Captain Carter much more past that. Like, if we do it again, then it's just weird,
Like, I think it would have been, hindsight's always 2020, but a different approach could have been, you maybe pepper in one character or two characters crossing over in season 1. You have the same type of peppering in season 2, and then that'll culminate to do like a special or a mini series of What If. Like, hey, this is the the Avengers movie of the what if verse.
Yeah.
But for me, I just want my, I want my what ifs to be singular and
well, I think
and
I think the other problem with this season is like, so the what if comics are great because I think they started in like the 80s, right? Like they started like maybe earlier than the 80s, but I don't think it was. But like the thing about them is when they started, how many thousands of comic books had already been written in the Marvel universe that they could pull from the best ones, right? Like my favorite one is what if Spider-Man couldn't get rid of the symbiote? Like that's the symbiote is a really important story in Spider-Man's lore, right? And the whole reason Venom exists is because there is a moment when Spider-Man successfully ditched that suit. And then we all know the story that happened after he got rid of that suit, right? But this comic tells a story of what if he couldn't get rid of it. And it's crazy because that suit just goes on a rampage and starts consuming everybody and stuff because it stays on Peter Parker long enough to fully get all of his strength and stuff. And it's really cool. And there's so many other good stories that are all built on really iconic, memorable stories. And I think the first season of What If did that really well, right? Like we got to see a lot of the cool ones.
You got to see pivots of key
moments
MCU
in the
MCU
MCU.
moments.
Yeah. Especially even
involving A players. Like not
yeah.
I hate saying that, but like, I want to see the what if Captain America didn't get the serum, but Peggy got it.
And you even got a spin on like the most important story in that universe, which was the Infinity War, right? Like you got to see what if Vision just says nah, and he just goes and murders Thanos,
Yeah.
And it went off the rails pretty fast. And so yeah, you got the Steve being replaced by Peggy. That was such a cool episode. It was a really cool episode, like watching Strange not, or Strange's like ego get the best of him and let him believe that he could save everyone. Like that was a very dark episode. Like there's all of those episodes last season were really cool explorations of things
You
that
know what made that weird though?
What?
Like Christine's not dead in the MCU mainline story, right?
Correct.
So why didn't he just go to that one?
Fair enough. But I think the problem with this season is weird stories, right?
It's not. I don't want to knock on the Nebula Nova. That's probably one of the better ones.
Okay,
right?
The Nebula one's cool, but at the same time,
it's weird.
Is that a really did we even ever have the chance of considering that story?
Did you ever ponder that story?
No,
no. Like the conceits they get to, like that's even my slightest, like I don't, the Corey episode, great. I like her. She's a great character. I like her powers, but like the conceit to just get to that story, which is so like what if Odin cast off
what if Odin did the plot of Thor, but thousands of years earlier with Hela? You know what I mean? Like
okay, cool. I don't know if that's a what if technically, but like
yeah. I mean, it's not called that, but it's something different. Like the one that's a legit what if this season that I will give him credit for. Like in the grand scheme of like things that happen in the MCU that are so part of canon that like if you what if them, it's really weird. I think was the second episode, which is what if Peter Quill attacked the Earth.
Yeah, that's a cure.
So that what if is what if Yondu didn't have a heart of gold and actually did turn him into Ego, and you didn't make a big fuss about Kurt Russell being in this TV show, did you? Like What's that? He was in the first season too, wasn't he? I think he
Uh,
was.
I think he's in the first. He shows up.
I think he makes like he's really briefly in the first season, but
What was
in
the
any
first
case,
season with? What's gonna drive me crazy now?
in any case, he's down to clown, and Kurt Russell shows up as Ego, and he gets to fulfill his plan. And I did think the fun part of that episode was you finally got to see, well, who would the Avengers be if they had to form in the 80s? And it was fun because it's basically just a bunch of ant people. Like it's the Ant-Man crew, you know what I mean? Like and Winter Soldier. I was kind of bummed that Red Guardian didn't show up though. I was kind of waiting for the Red Guardian.
Well, I mean, they did tease a What If season 3, which is also kind of random. They just dropped that in the middle of this season
on like New Year's.
But
I think
it's a little teaser of Bucky and the Red Guardian fleeing a traffic stop, basically, or a checkpoint. Checkpoint.
And it's a younger Red Guardian. You can tell. Yeah. So, but in any case, like.
But yeah, to your point, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of stories that happened this season that I guess the way I'm trying to say it is it's kind of like when you watch a mystery story and then when the mystery is solved and it's such a left field thing that you as a viewer never had a chance of solving it. I think that's kind of like what some of these what if stories were. It's like,
well, it was a season. It's definitely a season 2 to What If season 1, and I think what we're agreeing on is What If should be very much like an anthology type of show. With big picture focus.
Yeah. Now that said, I really I don't want to knock. I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the season because I think this season had the balls to do something cool that was out of left field, and that they did an entire episode where they created a new character, like a new MCU character. That was a really fun episode. I really loved that episode, and I really loved what it like. I love that it was done entirely in the language of the, I forget which people it was that they
Mohawk people.
Yeah, the Mohawk people. That was super cool.
That was cool. Like that's
we had to read that whole episode. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't mind that at all. It reminded me of like when I was watching Prey. You know, like that was cool. Like there's a version of Prey you can watch with that they recorded with the audio of you know that specific tribe of people.
Comanche.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was a ballsy thing to do for What If, and I really applaud that the producers got the okay to do that episode, and they created a really cool character that was also empowered by the Tesseract, right? Just like Captain Marvel was, right? So yeah, I mean the Tesseract's an infinite, existing thing. So like, and it's been on Earth for a really long time. So why couldn't it have created other beings besides Captain Marvel at some point? So that's a fun one. And I really like that character becomes something that, is so powerful that the Strange Supreme has to, he kidnaps her too. He's like, I need this one. This one's strong, And so, yeah, like overall, I really do. I did enjoy that I got What If, but I didn't feel like I was in on the gag of the what ifs for most of this time around, like if that makes sense. And in fact, I almost felt a little annoyed by the Die Hard one, which like I didn't want to agree with you. Like I was very open to the idea of having a Christmas episode. But when I just saw it and I saw that it was just a parody of Die Hard, that kind of bummed me out because I was like, "Oh, you could be more than
like I don't want Happy. I don't care if Happy Hogan like I don't care about Happy Hogan. What if
you don't care if he becomes Hulk Hogan?
Yes, I mean, but it's a freak though, right? In the comics, like that's what he is.
The Freak.
I thought I read somewhere where that that character is called the Freak, and that is something very specific to Happy Hogan.
Oh, if that happened in the comics, I was not aware of it. But that's cool.
But yeah, it's not. It's too hard. To your point, was it cool to see Justin Hammer again? Yeah, I think it'll be cooler to see him in Armor Wars.
Yeah,
with Happy Hogan.
Yeah. The other weird thing for me, is I think some of these voice actors, because they don't get everybody. They get. I'm always impressed by how many they do get. They get Benedict Cumberbatch is down to clown, and I think that's freaking awesome because I think
don't like the Iron Man though.
I love the Iron Man. I love Mick Wingert. What I was
I don't like the writing of the Iron Man.
Oh, I think he's great. I think he's the best one of all the sound-alikes. I really think
best sounding. He does sound good.
I think he's the best sound-alike of all the fillers. The one I don't like is Lake Bell as Black Widow. When I hear it,
the same thing.
I just hear
it's her Poison Ivy voice. It's 100% the same thing.
Yeah, that one hurts because she's so good as Poison Ivy that I can't not hear Poison Ivy.
She's in the MCU now, period. So you can't use her.
Yeah, well, she died in the MCU also.
No, she didn't. She's alive.
She died in that movie in Wakanda Forever.
No, she gets away.
that helicopter got taken down, didn't it?
No, that's how they know what happened.
Really? I could have sworn she died.
She stays alive because there was I'm pretty sure she stays alive. Tell us in the comments below.
Yeah, I don't.
I think he lets her go. I'm pretty sure they let her go.
Okay, fair enough. But in any case, she's rough for me, and then Joss Keaton as Captain America it's kind of meh for me. But other ones are weird. Like Cate Blanchett, I didn't realize that actually was Cate Blanchett. I was like, it's a pretty good sound-alike, The sound-alike they got for Wenwu, he's good enough. He's good enough, right? But yeah, no, it's like super cool that you that Benedict Cumberbatch and Mark Ruffalo and Paul Rudd and Chris Hemsworth are always down to clown, and it just makes this show so much more fun when you get to see them. I also like that in that 80s Avengers version we got to see T'Chaka. We get to see a young T'Chaka be there and give a little history lesson on why Captain America has the vibranium shield and stuff. And I was like, okay, that cleared up some really murky areas that we have definitely discussed on this show before. So I appreciate that little bit of lore for the MCU. But yeah, I overall, I like what they did. I don't know that I necessarily loved that Strange Supreme had to come back to be the villain, because like we've been saying, do more different stuff. I don't need to keep revisiting the same
I think
stories.
they had a really good tee up that I think they missed with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, because that's the payoff of What If, right? Oh, we got Captain Carter. She's pretty cool. Oh shit, she's really in the movies now. This is cool. And I know the Strange in that movie, the evil Strange, is not Strange Supreme. They're different.
And that hurts too.
How much better would that have been if it was Strange Supreme?
Or the zombie Strange.
Right? It's
Yeah. No, I know. I thought it was funny because there's a point where in episode 5 when what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper, right? And it starts with the Watcher saying how, now I don't normally do sequels, right? Because there's so many universes to explore. Well, I think it's kind of funny that he said that as the justification for what he's about to do next. But then so much of the show still kind of the season still felt like sequels, right? We had to get, we had to get the makeup episode,
the lost episode,
the last episode of Gamora, but I'm but I'm done. I don't really need to know more about this character. And it was an okay episode. I think the only reason that episode was awesome was because Jeff Goldblum was down to clown. Like, Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster cracks me up. Like, I just love him.
It's him with Korg. There's a lot of Korg in this season too.
Dude, rock, paper, scissors, that was super cool. That was pretty funny.
But like,
that was funny.
There's certain characters in the MCU that are funny, and I think they're great first go around. I don't want them back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Second time around.
Yeah. No, it gets to be a little bit much sometimes. Like, you're just like, do we need to keep doing this? Yeah. What episode was that, by the way? Because I'm not seeing. Sorry. It's What If Iron Man crashed into Grandmaster. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was the 4th episode. Yeah. That was it was a weird episode.
Yeah.
It was a weird one.
The only other, I guess, gripe with What If that I have is like, man, one of two things is possible. Either the Thanos that the Avengers got in the Sacred Timeline was the most competent Thanos in the world, or our Avengers are kind of shitty in that timeline at that point.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, like, you know, if Frank was here, he would say that the only reason the Avengers won is because of a rat that turned on the time machine. So, you know, there's all kinds of things to nitpick and stuff. But I'm just curious. Like, I think overall, like, we still give the season a thumbs up. I'm happy
we got it. Yeah, I don't want to deny there was cool stuff in here. Would I watch a season 3? Yes, because that's what we do, and you know, they're fun. It's nice to have a lighter Marvel content.
Yeah, I like that the MCU insists on continuing to expand the lore of Howard the Duck, like wherever it can. Like right? Like,
Seth Green's got to get paid.
We get a little bit more. We get to know Howard a little bit more every year, almost every year. It's so adorable. Like that character keeps getting more and more screen time. But yeah, I think I'm excited for season 3, but I hope that season 3 doesn't feel the need to retread over the stuff that we've seen in season 1 and 2. Like, I actually don't want more Captain Carter anymore. I don't. Not in this show. Yeah, not in this show. I love that. I want to see her in the movie, all buff and not cut in half. You know, like that would be great. Like, do that. Do more of that.
Like Kahori, put her in a movie.
Oh, definitely put Kahori in a movie for sure.
Yeah. You know, like, let's see some cool. Give me Infinity Ultron. Put him in a movie. Secret Wars, that dude better be in there somewhere.
So let me just really quick, like, since we are endorsing the show, like, I just want to go through these really quick and see if I get a yay or nay from you as an individual episode. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So first up, What If Episode 1, Season 2? What if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? What was your take on that one?
Yeah, that's good. That was good.
That was
the What If is a weird one, but
that was the most blatant Blade Runner like ripoff ever, and I was here for it. I kind of loved it.
Cool.
It was cool, and you know why? Because Nebula is my favorite character in the MCU, and I thought we started out so strong with this one because Karen Gillan was down to clown, and Yondu was down to clown. Michael Rooker is always down to clown, you know, like, and so I appreciate it.
I'll say it was kind of dumb. So they trapped the atmosphere. There's a years-long blockade, and then they open it, and oh no, Ronan's coming in, but gotcha, we're closing it back up.
Yeah,
right on Ronan, and then they open it back up again. It's like
they kill Ronan off screen. They don't even show Ronan die. Yeah, I know, that was
like
weird.
Ronan's that petty.
Yeah, it was. He was just waiting. He was there on the other end of it, ready to go. I mean, in fairness, he had informants on the inside. I think the other weird part of that episode was Jude Law. Like, I don't think he really left a huge impression on MCU fans.
Yeah, he's a little weird.
So Jan Rog is like, whatever. I guess that's cool, Okay, what if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? Is that a yay or nay?
I'll say nay.
I think I like the idea of it more than the execution.
The idea is great. I think the execution up until when they capture him, great. I don't necessarily love that Hope.
Yeah.
Change of heart breaks him out
Yeah.
in a maximum high security unknown prison.
Or that Hope even got to come
with
yeah.
Gets to just hang out alone in a maximum security.
Yeah, that story hinged on Hope being a little too important to it. Yeah. I'll agree. All right, what if Happy Hogan saved Christmas?
Dumb. Anything that's a Die Hard rip off after seeing Die Hard is just inherently bad.
Because you love Die Hard that much.
Die Hard's great.
I will challenge you to go watch Game Over Man though.
Okay.
I think Game Over Man is the greatest comedic love letter of Die Hard ever. And also Violent Night is like the real Die Hard Christmas movie. Violent Night is good. Those two. But I will agree there's a saturated market of Die Hard ripoffs, and I don't feel that we needed one where Happy Hogan was the star of it. Like it didn't.
Is it cool to have Jon Favreau back? Yes.
Sure. I mean, did I ever think he was going to be gone? No. He's like the architect of all of this. You know what I mean? Like he'll always come back.
What do you feel if he directs Armored Wars or Armored War movie? The Armored War.
I think that would be cool.
That's a good way to get him to come back with some tech.
But aren't they already filming it?
No, that's next year.
Oh, really? They haven't filmed it yet?
No.
Rough. What if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster?
Nay.
I think this one's just barely a yay for me, only because I really love Rock, Paper, Scissors. Like Howard the Duck's crew was awesome. I really liked Grandmaster and his funny assistant as well. Like that she came back, to be silly. But I just appreciated this episode for being silly. It was just funny. It was just a pure comedy in the way that Thor Ragnarok was a lot comedy, but was it a story I really, really wanted to see? No, I guess not. But I do, what I will say canonically though, I do appreciate that it established a deeper connection between Sakaar and the Thanos invasion, because those are Sakaarian warriors. And yet you barely ever see those characters on Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me.
Paper people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a barely yay for me on that one, but I respect that it's a nay for you. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper?
Yeah, I like the Black Widow part of that movie or of that episode.
She's the worst part of that for me. But
no, the story around.
That they mashed up the
bringing in the Red Room.
Movie. Yeah. Okay.
Bucky's involved, kind of like it. That's cool. It was cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. You're right. Yeah, I just didn't like Lake Bell as Black Widow. That was. I kind of wished it was Yelena in this movie or in this episode instead. It would have been cooler. What if Kahori reshaped the world?
I just realized they probably blew up Yelena in that episode.
They probably did blow up Yelena. Yes. You know what?
Great.
Kahori's great, right? I also really liked that. I think we're skipping ahead, but I really liked that. Captain Carter ended up writing. Did she ride Kahori? No, she rode on the back of somebody. Like
Hulk? No.
Yeah. Was it Hulk? Oh, it's Banner. It's Hulk in the 1602 one, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, I'm getting ahead. Kahori Reshaping the World was great. A Mohawk woman ventures into the waters of the Forbidden Lake to help save her people. The whole premise of this episode was awesome. I really love it.
The story, her story was great. The premise to get there, again, weird.
Do you know who played Kahori?
Is it Danny from Reservation Dogs?
It's the character who plays Alora Dannon. Yeah.
Or Lord Dannon. Okay, there.
Alora Dannon. Yeah. Alora Dannon.
Who's starring in Echo next week.
Nice.
Which makes it weird if she wants to play Corey in her live action debut.
Yeah. Well, yeah, who knows? Whatever. I thought that was super cool. There was a lot of cool stuff going on, and then it's weird because you're watching the credits and you're like, wait, what's going on here? Like, okay, I don't recognize most of these names, but then Benedict Cumberbatch shows up, and you're like, what the hell? But it's cool. Like when Strange Supreme shows up at the end, I was kind of excited for a second. All right, what if Hela found the 10 rings?
That's good.
It was pretty cool, right?
I didn't love it, I think, as much as you did, but I did like, because she basically it's her Thor, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, it's Thor, but she wanted to go kill everything. She wanted to kill Midgard and stuff, and so Odin stripped her of her powers that were all bestowed inside her helmet. That was weird.
Yeah,
and he said whoever be.
Well, they proved it in. I guess there's some continuity there, because that was my beef with last season when the Collector puts on the helmet, and we were like, I don't know if that gives you powers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Huh? I forgot the Collector had.
It was weird. It was weird when he had it.
Okay, all right, yeah.
But now they looped it back in.
Some continuity inside.
Does that make it good? Maybe.
Yeah. I liked it, but I liked it anyways, and I liked the idea that once she didn't have her powers, and then met Wenwu and was like, God damn, what are those? I want that, and then she proceeded to really try hard to get those rings off of him, and she could not do it, dude. It was pretty cool. And then I like when Odin had to show up with the Allfather, like his spear and he had to fight the two of them. It was fun. It was a fun story. I liked it, and I liked the idea of like Norse mythology fusing with Chinese mythology and stuff.
It put more respect on Wenwu. Like Wenwu could fuck you up.
Yeah, because like I this is the kind of story I wanted in What If, because it's like when I saw Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, the Wenwu was the most fascinating part for me of that whole movie. Like I was like, wait, so this guy's been around for how long, and we're just now hearing about this? Like, I need way more stories about this guy. I need to know everything about him. So I'm happy that like we might not ever get a movie that's just about Wenwu, but we got this. This is my consolation prize. What if the Avengers assembled in 1602?
Nay, because I'm not familiar with the story. And like Steve Rogers shows up, like I didn't really understand like what was wrong, like what was the urgency in that universe. Peggy knew the universe is going to be destroyed.
The universes were being folded in upon themselves is what happened. And so
okay.
I agree they didn't explain it as well as they could have, because this one was more an adaptation of an actual comic, the same way that Marvel Zombies was. Marvel Zombies wasn't a what if story. It is a story that happens to also kind of ask a question, what if?
Yeah.
But it's not in the what if comic books. It's just its own series of comics. And the same goes for 1602. It's a universe that was established by Neil Gaiman, the creator of Sandman, in the Marvel universe, or its own Elseworld kind of story, right? Where what if like everybody in the Avenger, all the famous Avengers instead happened in the year 1602, There were some big differences between Neil Gaiman's story. One being they tried to tie this into like a larger what if multiverse thing going on. The other being in this version of it, this actually took place in England, whereas Neil Gaiman's takes place in America.
Mhm.
And I think they made a good choice to switch it to England. It makes less sense why those characters are in England as opposed to America. But there's an awkward thing that Neil Gaiman did when he did it, and it's Steve Rogers is also the linchpin of the story. He's the first person to show up that shouldn't be in that universe when he is. But because it's America, he dressed as a Native American. He was still blonde, and so it's the idea is basically like, what does a Captain America look like before America exists?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I get the spirit of what Neil Gaiman was trying to do, but it ain't a good look to see Captain America in the full headdress. Like it's not good. And he went by the name Rojas. Like, and I'm like,
like, well, I didn't though. I mean, also, it didn't really make sense to me, like why. So Peggy was sucked in there by the Scarlet Witch, right?
yes.
It didn't like. Why is everyone else there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
They were getting like dropped off because there's some weird, like, I know it's like it's kind of messy.
It's
Like
a little messy. It's a little muddy.
It made it hard for me to enjoy the fun of it. And then I was like, wait, so that Happy that we saw in a previous episode is the Happy here now too? Like, so yeah, it's definitely melding too many universes together. So I get it. It was a weird one. But as a fan of the 1602 comic books, this was a decent take on it. I will say the bummer for me was like one of my favorite things in 1602 was watching Peter Parquois become 1602 Spider-Man. And so like the absence of Spider-Man was felt in this story. I was like, you're not even gonna have Spider-Man in it? Like, what the hell? Like, yeah. So like, it was okay. I could have done better. It could have done better. And lastly, what if Strange Supreme intervened?
That was cool. Like again, the minor beat, well, not as exciting as the last finale, but again, like it.
Do you want to see more Strange Supreme ever again?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Right. I'll see some more of him because I want to see him take on our Strange. That to me would be the coolest.
So you don't want to see him in What If? You want to see him real?
Yeah, I want to see him out. I didn't like a big issue for me in that episode is when Peggy gets the Infinity Armor. I mean, it's one of those things where like you make her too powerful at a certain point, given what they presented us on what all the bajillion artifacts that she has on her can do, where it's like, and you still barely won.
It's pretty cool to see them get the rings. And
it's cool. No, it's cool. You mix all the toys, she gets all the accessories.
Yeah, and the helmet of Hela. Yeah,
but you're using all that to beat Supreme Strange. Go now. I mean, now I want to see another episode where she's all decked out and doing some other.
But I think the whole point of that was to show you just how powerful Strange Supreme had become, right? Like he's that powerful. But to me, that's like too powerful. Like that's too powerful. Like that. I don't think our Stephen Strange would stand a chance against this guy. You know what I mean? Like
you have the Infinity Stones, right? You could bring in other people in your fight against Strange, right?
Instead of make a bunch of copies of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I honestly, I thought, like, I haven't gone back to freeze frame it, but I was really hoping to see a more creative crew of characters in his in his menagerie when she unlocks all the prisoners and they all just run wild. Like that's when the MCU becomes really small, because you're like,
oh, it's all these people.
It's all the same. It's just remixes of the ones we've seen before. Like no Moon Knights, you know what I mean? No Spider-Man, no She-Hulks, no. It's only the stuff that we saw when they were doing production on this show. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that hurts me, is it's like, come on, guys. Like, couldn't you have like a Jean Grey flying around in the background? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, it's you know what I mean? Like, you gonna tell me that there's not one universe where Jean Grey is the world ender? In fact, I'm pretty sure there's multiple universes where Jean Grey is the world ender. So, like,
Right.
you know, yeah. So that was kind of hurting me, in that, like, how small scope the world ender prison was, because like it wasn't allowing itself to have real fun. And I know that if I had seen that in the comic books, that story would have been one of the coolest things ever drawn, because you would have seen all the things ever, and things you would have never even
Just show
imagined.
me a Galactus foot.
Exactly.
Show me
a Galactus. Show me Mephisto. You know what I mean? Like
some
like
Eternals in there.
show me an Annihilus. You know what I mean? Like he's literally an annihilator of universes. Like there's so many
there could have been
things.
a Kang in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many things that could have been in the background that would have just made that episode more fun. But instead we're like, here's Hela again. Here's
It's like they took all the what if characters and then shook them.
And
just
shook them in a jar, and
you just got a different combination.
Yeah, and that was what made that episode feel. The scale didn't feel right to me.
It was cool to see the multiverse tree at the end. I'm sure
that was a nice.
Sure, that was like a last minute touch, or maybe they had planned all along. But it was cool. Like, all right.
No, that was probably my favorite part of that whole episode, is the very end when they're gonna take the long way home to take Peggy home, right? And you see it zooms out and you see Yggdrasil, which has been recently created by Loki, the god of stories. And I was like, okay, you won me over again. What if? Good job. Like they ended on a good note, you know. So
like, do you think we get the Watcher in the MCU live?
We've had them before.
We had Watchers. The Watcher. Our Watcher.
Watu. I think my wife would ask that if it happened, you just make him obnoxiously big. So like,
but they were big. They were big. I don't know if they're the same scale.
No, she always jokes about how like there's certain times.
Oh, like in the background,
entire sky. She's like, why'd you have to be that big? Like that's just like
you can't even like observe things. Omnipresent.
It's funny. It's funny to me, but I would like. I wouldn't mind seeing Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. Like here's the thing. Like in the comics, the Watcher shows up. If he shows up, you know the shit that's happening. You got to tread real careful, because you're about to make a decision that's going to affect billions of lives. And that's kind of the relationship that Reed Richards has with the Watcher, right? Reed Richards knows what the Watcher is, and when he sees Uatu, he's like, all right, everybody, let's take a breath. Something real big's about to go down here. And that's cool. Like I like that relationship that he has with the Watcher, because it establishes the importance of this character. And he also understands, hey, by the way, this guy is not going to do anything to help us, but just the sheer fact that he's here means he's watching something really important take place right now. And so, yes, I would like to see him in the movies played by Jeffrey Wright. That would be great, with his big old head. Yeah, but you know, am I okay with it if we only ever get him in the cartoon? Yeah, it's cool too. I don't mind. It's a fun show, and I do love what Jeffrey Wright brings to it. I do think the weird thing is, I think he's the most fun whenever Peggy shows up, because it's the only time he gets to talk to a person other than Strange, right? He gets to talk to Strange, because like
he gets to talk shit to Strange.
Yeah. But like those are the only two characters he actually interacts with ever. So yeah. But Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have a third season, but like I would ask that like I'm kind of worried about like delivering it this way because it felt cheaper.
I didn't mind it. I give it to me all at
cheaper
once.
though, right?
It always felt cheaper, but
oh man,
it always felt cheaper.
All right, well that's
The
our
minute
show,
they did
ladies and
Party
gentlemen.
Thor, it's always felt cheaper.
Boo to you.
But
Boo to
with
you.
that, yes, we can wrap up our show this week. Thank you guys long. We went long. We went longer than I thought we were gonna go.
You're right, Joel. It's more that actually Ultron interacted with him, right? Like Ultron kind of just showed up and he's like, "Oh, you can hear me," kind of thing.
It's
But
like,
yeah, you're right. He did interact with him too.
Ultron called him out, Pervin.
Yeah. He found him. He found him in all his omnipotent power. But I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about this this show. Like, and
what are we doing next week?
Oh, you know what we're doing next week? We're doing Echo.
Every episode dropping Monday. Is that
Every
midnight
episode
for you,
dropping Monday.
or are you waking up and doing it?
I don't think they're dropping them at midnight though, right? I think they're going to drop them at like 6 o'clock or something like that, or 7 o'clock.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably.
You could be right.
Yeah, they probably will. But no, I'll have them all done by Tuesday for sure. I'll be done by Tuesday. Joel and anybody else who tuned in, thank you for watching. I hope it was fun. And please, in the comments, let us know which episode was your favorite, or like what were your thoughts on this season of What If, and what kind of what if stories you'd like to see happen in the future. I would like to see some stuff with Moon Knight or She-Hulk and some of the newer characters, that have entered in. I want to see more universes that, like, I still think we're not doing enough with Spider-Man. There's a lot of what if stories that need to be told with Spider-Man that are not getting done here. Like, and it's weird.
Spider-Man costs money, man. That's what it is.
I know, right? It's so annoying. So annoying. All right, cool. I think we got to wrap this up. Ricky, you got any last words?
No last words. Happy New Year, everyone. We're stoked to be back at it in year 3 of
Look at this troll. I'm not even gonna repeat that.
What if this show was over?